The screen slowly opens up over the soft whir of an old home movie. Children play in the backyard, their laughter spilling out onto the hot summer day. Janelle is slicing vegetables at the kitchen counter with a warm smile. Logan is kneeling in the other room beside his little brother, showing off the accomplishment of tying a shoelace with soft patience. For years, he was the anchor, the dependable son, the voice of reason in the midst of otherwise turbulent times. Logan Brown, golden boy of the Sister Wives clan. But behind the camera, another story was brewing. A storm brewed within him, one that ultimately would tear to shreds the carefully constructed character the Browns had peddled to the masses. Black screen text in blood red. Why did Logan vanishingly depart without a goodbye? The camera cuts to Cody in the middle of a confessional booth, his face fixed in anger. This was not favoritism. This was a tale of betrayal, of silence, of a secret held in the recesses of a broken home. So what went wrong with Logan, not only with his dad, but with the show that made his family name a household name? The montage starts, Logan as a kid, embracing family members, assisting with dinner, slouching over schoolwork with brothers and sisters, and then, poof, a disappearance. Logan, the eldest of 18 siblings, was supposed to have it all. Sob. When Cody went for fame and TV at the cost of his eldest child, Logan had two options: continue acting on screen or fade away. He took autonomy. Since the day he was born, Logan had occupied a role he never requested. The oldest of Cody and Janelle, the de facto third parent, the mediator, the glue. Behind-the-scenes cameras captured him as the even-keel overachiever, but the real life was much weightier. Skipped birthdays, unmentioned sacrifices, and the anxiety of duties that never rightfully belonged on a child's shoulders. And then Robin showed up, and it all fell apart. Cody's gaze shifted to her kids, particularly Dayton. Logan remained silent at first. He even thought of Dayton as a brother. But the attention shortly turned into something else, a show that was more about image and less about love. The tipping point was Cody's insistence on adopting Dayton, not for familial happiness, but for television melodrama. Cody insisted that all his adult children have to sign off on the adoption on television. Logan didn't. And Cody's reaction wasn't shock, it was a threat. Endorse the adoption on television or be severed from the family for life. Logan chose to walk, quietly, calmly. Leaning toward Janelle, he whispered, "I'm done performing." And just like that, the golden boy was gone. On the show, they brushed it off, saying he was busy with school, focused on his own life. But court documents told a different story. Logan's refusal had stalled the adoption for months, something Cody never forgave. From there, the story was retold. Cody portrayed Logan as aloof, disrespectful, thankless. Robin followed, writing an account of events in which Logan was the bad guy. But Logan was not being naughty, he was merely surviving. Years went by. Logan constructed a stoic existence in Nevada. No television lights, no chaos, no Cody. But stoic and peaceful are not necessarily the same. A cold December night, Robin stood on Janelle's doorstep, Dayton and Aurora by her side. Her smile was cracked, her eyes full of tears. "I just want closure," she said. "Dayton deserves that." What followed was years in the making. Robin accused Logan of abandonment. Dayton looked broken. She demanded answers. Logan, calm but burning inside, gave her one. "You're asking for a performance. I'm asking for the truth. Cody didn't lose a son. He threw one away." The room was still. Janelle was stilled as she faced Robin. "You did not come looking for closure. You came to reinterpret history, but in this house, the truth remains." That evening, the illusion was broken, and then something strange occurred, something that shook the roots of the Brown family. Dayton wrote Logan an open letter. Between the orchestrated set pieces and camera-friendly theatrics in a muffled Las Vegas coffee shop, the two exchanged honesty for the first time. Both shared the hurt of having grown up in the shadows. Dayton confessed, "You didn't care that I couldn't breathe." Logan countered it was not neglect, it was survival. When Cody found out, he exploded. "You've turned Dayton against me," he yelled at Robin. "Logan poisoned him." But for the first time, Robin didn't defend him. She exhaled and said, "He didn't poison him. He told him the truth." When Cody stormed to Janelle's door, prepared to yell at Logan, he was held back in his tracks by Hunter, who stood between them. "You don't get to redefine the past anymore. You punished Logan for establishing boundaries. We see it now for what it was, control." Cody was quiet, and for once, he remained so. Later, Dayton messaged Logan with one final message. "I get it now, can we talk?" They did. No cameras, no scripts. Two men finally healing. Logan never went back to TLC. He never asked Cody's permission again. What he ended up walking away with instead was bigger. The truth. Sometimes the most courageous thing that a person can do isn't a fight. It's leaving. And by leaving, Logan Brown became the freest man in his family's history. The last frame, Logan driving his battered Ford SUV out against the snowy horizon of Flagstaff. The family home shrinking in the rearview mirror. No goodbyes, no looking back. Robin's voice in his head. "You don't have to go like this," but her tears no longer kept him. By her side, Cody stood with arms crossed, his jaw clenched. He viewed Logan's independence as rebellion. But it was freedom. Logan kept driving, and for the first time, the road was his. Logan did not hate his father. If anything, he was pitying. A man who had only learned to define love if it was given in obedience and in misunderstanding control for connection. Earlier that day, Logan had walked through the bare-spared rooms of his childhood. The bunk beds gone, the Lego-shrouded shelves empty. All that remained were echoes, years of screaming arguments, shattered promises, and the bitter truth that this never was home. Outside, the wind howled. He grabbed the final box to his vehicle, and then a blast of wind knocked off the potted plant that was resting on the porch. She shattered on the concrete. Logan groaned but did not rouse to fix it. The fracture felt appropriate. Certain things, once broken, never again would be whole. From a window on the second story, Aurora stood in silence, her breath fogging the glass. She had begged Logan to stay for one last night. She had even written him a letter, but never worked up the courage to show it to him. It now lay crumpled in a dresser drawer, hidden like so many secrets in the Brown home. Behind the wheel, Logan turned on the radio. One song gave way to another, and each was wrong, too soft, too sappy, too close. He turned it off. Silence was cleaner. As his SUV edged toward the perimeter of the neighborhood, he let it go slow, looking back for the last time. Not at the house itself, but at the life behind him. His siblings, his broken childhood, the muddled twist of obligation and mess. This wasn't flight. This was choice. For the first time, Logan was choosing himself. But he didn't yet see what his departure would loose. His departure would unearth secrets hidden for years. It would ignite arguments too hot to contain, and it would split the family in ways nobody ever could repair. At home, there was a suffocating quiet. Robin paced back and forth in the living room, tears of black mascara on her cheeks, phone trembling in her hand. She kept looking for a message, something from Logan. There was nothing. He was truly gone this time. The front door slammed. Cody's fury filled the air, so hot that Aurora winced upstairs. Grinning between his teeth, he opened a cupboard, poured a glass of water, then splashed it against the sink. The glass remained intact, but the last thread of calm in the house was shattered. "He's your son," Robin said softly. Cody spun around, and he just turned his back on me like I was nothing. A voice cut in from the stairs. "That's because you treated him like nothing." Everyone broke. It was Aurora, usually subdued, not wanting to stir argument. But now her voice had fire. He left because you only understand control, not love. Robin took a step towards her. Sweetheart, please. No. Aurora's tears rose to the surface. You don't get to cry now. You let him walk away. You let him go. Her words cracked through the air like thunder. Upstairs, Dayton sat alone, staring at a new message in the sibling group chat. I'm gone. Don't come looking. Don't act surprised. Logan? Dayton swallowed hard. He knew what it was like to vanish in plain sight. Downstairs, Robin collapsed onto the couch and buried her face in her hands. There was grief, but there was also terror. Logan had not only stolen clothing and memorabilia, he had stolen something even more lethal, a secret that Cody and she had shared for years, something that would destroy what was left of the Brown family's reputation, and Logan had everything to lose if he kept silent. The quiet he left behind was not typical quiet. It was ponderous. It was finished. Drawers slammed in the kitchen by Cody, digging for a means to repair what had already been damaged. But it was too late. The peacekeeper, the son he'd once bragged about, had finally vacated the position they'd placed him in. You happy now? Robin yelled down the hallway, her voice gruff but shaking. You pushed him too far. Don't try it with me, Cody taunted. He made his own choice. He's not a kid no more. Yes, Robin replied, striding toward him, her eyes welling up with tears. He's a man, and you never heard him out. The words lingered like smoke after flames. Aurora sat on her floor, legs pulled up to her chest, the letter to Logan on the ground in front of her. Her chest ached. She could still hear the sound of his footsteps in the hallway, still smell the scent of his cologne, and she had never gotten to say goodbye. In another room, Dayton sat at his desk, staring blankly. Logan had always treated him well, and now that was gone too. In her casita, Mary held onto her teacup with trembling hands. She listened to the SUV pull out, felt the tension in the room. She knew this wasn't just an issue of a kid leaving a home. It was about children leaving emotionally, spiritually, forever. And Cody didn't get it. Miles down the road from Coyote Pass, Christine's phone buzzed, one short text. He left. Her stomach fell. She didn't want details. She already knew exactly what Logan had done, something they'd all dreamt of doing. He'd escaped. And his escape was only the start of the tale. It was the spark. The moment that took a broken family facade and turned it into a complete collapse. At supper time, Cody refused to glance at the empty chair where Logan had sat. He refused even to look down the corridor to his son's empty bedroom. Pride wouldn't allow it. But deep in his soul, the space left open was one that couldn't be filled by anyone else. That night, later on, Christine called Janelle. Have you heard from him? She whispered. Janelle exhaled. Yeah, wary. He texted, said he needed space, said he was finished. Christine's sigh was a heavy one. That is not space. He's not returning. Somewhere downtown, Logan sat cross-legged in the middle of his one-bedroom apartment. Tiny kitchen, no cameras, no obligatory smile, no sound. Around him, the moving boxes sat sealed. His gaze fell on a white wall without a mark. He seethed with the hot burn of tears. But they refused to come. The well was dry. His laptop sat open on his lap. On the screen, a never-sent letter to Cody with the subject line, Things You Never Heard Me Say. His finger rested on the send button, but he didn't send it. Not yet. This wasn't done. Home in the Brown house, Robin held a throw pillow in the master bedroom, weeping with ragged, jagged gasps. She wasn't mourning only Logan, she was mourning the creeping corruption of reality shattering their shiny facade. The myth that love had kept the family intact was crumbling, and beneath the surface, she knew it had never been love. And then her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. You think Logan's the only one exiting? Her breath caught. The screen went dark. Downstairs, the atmosphere was dense. Robin was tense on the couch, her eyes fixed on the door, replaying the bang of Logan's car door in her mind. Cody was gritting his jaw and stood in the hallway, arms folded, not a word. The warning in his silence was obvious. If Logan returned, there was going to be another altercation. "He's only a boy," Robin panted. Cody's laughter was cold. He's a man, and he made his choice. A door upstairs slammed shut. Dayton's. Logan had meant more to him than a brother. He was gone now, with no goodbye. Mary fixed herself a glass of water she didn't need in the kitchen, shaking. She knew this, the faces etched with tears, the quiet that felt like a wake. Upstairs in her bedroom, Aurora yanked open her desk drawer and pulled out the crumpled letter she'd written the night before. It wasn't long, but it made her sick to read it again. "Please don't leave. You're the only one who listens, the only one who doesn't pretend. When you're gone, no one will see me anymore." She held it against her chest, wanting to scream. But in this house, screaming meant war. Christine sat outside with Truly, watching the road where Logan had driven away. She hadn't tried to stop him. "I hope he never looks back," she murmured. "But who?" Truly asked. "Someone brave," Christine smiled weakly back. But even as Logan drove miles away from the chaos, peril followed close behind. In his glove box, hidden among receipts, was a small voice recorder, one he'd left on by accident. It had recorded everything from his previous confrontation with Cody, including one sentence that, if made known, would annihilate the Brown family once and for all. Inside the house, Robin's voice trembled. "You should have stopped him." Cody's reply was terse. "He made his choice." "No," she snapped. "We made it for him, years ago." Above, Aurora was sitting in her headphones, nothing on, scrolling through the old pictures of Logan, of him carrying her at the carnival, helping her with school projects, sitting patiently through Cody's endless monologues. He was a better dad than her own dad had been. Her last line of the letter was still echoing through her head. "I wish I were as strong as you, but I don't know how to walk away, I'm afraid." A tap at the front door shattered the moment into shards like glass. Not a friendly rap of a neighbor, a thudding, insistent one. Cody pushed the door open to find Christine, arms crossed, eyes blazing. "I'm here for my son," she declared. Cody scowled. "What in the world are you saying?" "Don't be stupid," Christine snapped, pushing past him. "Logan approached me because you were never a contender. He's gone, and you should be wondering why, not pretending it's not your fault." The silence that followed was strangling. Cody's jaw clenched. "He's not your son." Christine's gaze dropped, her eyes narrowing. "Then you've just admitted the problem." Fire of rebellion glowed in Christine's eyes. "He's more mine than he's ever been yours." There was silence after that, frozen now, tauter, because the truth was out, and there was no undoing it. Aurora slipped unnoticed into a compact duffel bag she stuffed into her bedroom. She had no idea where she was headed, only that remaining there felt unsafe. The storm Logan had left behind did not dissipate, it intensified. Thunder boomed across the Arizona horizon, as if even the sky had now chosen to pay attention. The Browns moved through the house like inmates, tiptoeing in broken sentences, circumventing the hurts that always seemed to break everything wide open. Cody paced, not from concern he'd never own up to it, but because Logan's departure had let something loose within him, something he wasn't prepared to deal with. On the sofa, Robin huddled beneath a blanket that still carried the smell of Logan's recent visit. Guilt stuck to her like static on a day after day. She had attempted to keep it together, stop the walls from crumbling, but in attempting to do just that, she had become part of the wreckage. She observed from the perimeter. Her face betrayed nothing, but she had long guessed this, that Logan, reserved and unflappable, would be the one whose breaking would cause the whole ground to shift. She thought about how many children went on to the same place of breaking now. Mary stood in her bedroom, gazing at an antique photo of the times when smiles had been real and not fake. She traced her finger over Logan's face. Caring, strong, but never really allowed to be, not with Cody's ghost looming over him, not with the burden he had been made to bear. Janelle hurt the most. He was her oldest, her anchor. She knew the burden he had shouldered, the unspoken duties he had held for so long. Her phone rang constantly with calls from friends, family, strangers, all of them asking the same question. Where is Logan? Where did he disappear to? She had no answers, only the pain of a mother who had seen her son disappear from what once was home. Upstairs, Aurora lost it. The letter she had never written to Logan found itself, dripping wet from her eyes, in her hand. Why do people always leave? She murmured to nobody in particular. The absence of Logan was not what hurt. It was, rather, the fact that love in this house came attached and survival was purchased with silence. Dayton tried to hold it together, but he could sense the hysteria bubbling beneath. This was no longer about Logan. This was the first domino. Tempers boiled in quick succession. Cody attacked Janelle, accusing her of poisoning the children against him. Janelle's voice shook, but her cutting words sliced home. He left because you never listened, because it was always about you. Robin attempted to be heard, but her own strength had ebbed away with Logan's leaving. Without him, the gulfs opened up into cracks. From the turmoil, in silence, Logan's life continued in solitude. His downtown apartment was small, his meals plain, his days uncomplicated. He did not yet feel unfettered, but he felt light. This silence here was not claustrophobic, it was his own. Unread messages from his siblings lingered on his phone, some fuming, some perplexed, some silently pleading. He did not respond, not yet, because he knew something they did not. His leaving was only the start. Dinners at the Brown House became sort of a scripted reading, Cody's saccharine tongue-tied abhorrence posing as wisdom. Let's just hope that the rest of us can learn from Logan's poor choices, he recited one night, making a sweeping gesture around the table. In her own room, Mary neatly folded away old memories and realized Logan's leaving had opened something in her, a window she had kept shut for years. She was not ready to crawl through it yet, but perhaps soon. Christine and Janelle saw each other regularly now, not to talk about others, but to make plans in secret for a future without Cody's control. Logan lit the match, Christine said over a cup of coffee, and we needed the fire, Janelle said. Things were falling apart on Robin's side of the house in the meanwhile. Aurora no longer appeared for dinner. Dayton locked his door. Robin called Logan repeatedly, leaving messages with apologetics and entreaties. None ever came back to her. Logan spent his evenings writing, not books, not speeches, just bits of memory, the weights he'd borne, the masks he'd worn to make the lie true. And with every sentence he wrote, the truth was clearer. He owed nobody anything. A knock on his door a while later. Gwendlyn in the doorway, backpack slung over her shoulder, eyes red but determined. I can't stay there anymore, she said. Logan withdrew in silence. All the older children were unplugging one by one, not only from the house but from the legend that had been created around them. What appeared to be unity was crumbling into reality, and sometimes the way to look at truth is to incinerate the myth to ashes. For Logan, that truth started the day he walked out. And the storm, it wasn't over, it had only just started. Christine's eyes. Oh yeah, they were on fire. He's more mine than he's ever been yours. Boom. And time came to a standstill in the room, not the embarrassing silence where you cough and move on, the kind where the entire room understands the words can't be unsaid. Cut to upstairs. Aurora is in her room, shoving clothes into a duffel bag. No idea where she's going, but one thing's for sure, she's not staying around here. And outside? That Arizona storm? Oh boy, it's just getting started. Behind the Brown family walls, it's all tiptoeing and eggshells. Cody pacing back and forth, not because he's anxious. No way, Cody never gets anxious. But because something in Logan's absence is irking him. Robin curled up with a blanket on the couch that still has Logan's scent on it. She's second-guessing every decision she ever made, that she must have done something to bring on this collapse. Spoiler, she kinda did. Christine? She's in the background, watching, far from shocked. She's understood all along. Logan breaking would destroy everything. And lo and behold, she's starting to wonder which one of the other kids is going to be next. Mary in her bedroom, staring at an old family photo, where the smiles were genuine. She runs her finger over Logan's face, introspective, resilient, but never permitted to be him in earnest with Cody hanging in his head. Janelle. She is deluged with texts from friends, family, complete strangers all seeking, "Where's Logan? Why'd he disappear?" She has no idea. She's merely a mother witnessing her son disappear from what was meant to be home. Aurora finally collapses. She's holding one of the letters she never sent to Logan, and it's covered in tears. Why do people always leave? She's crying, and honestly, that's the Brown family motto at this point, and Dayton's keeping up appearances, but even he realizes Logan's departure was just the beginning of a chain reaction. Weeks later, the entire thing falls apart. Cody accuses Janelle of poisoning the children against him. Janelle snaps back. "He left because you never listened, because it was always about you." Ouch. Robin attempts to intervene, but without Logan around, she has no sway. The fissures in the family. Now canyons. Cut to Logan's new apartment. Small, quiet, no drama. His siblings' unread texts on his phone. Some angry, some confused, some silently cheering him on. He doesn't answer. Yet. Because this is the thing. Logan knows that this is just the beginning. Back at the house, family dinners are now tense, fake events. Cody's dropping lines like, "Let's hope the rest of us learn from Logan's poor decisions." Translation, he's losing control and he knows it. Mary's quietly packing away old memories. Christine and Janelle, they're meeting up more than ever, not to gossip, but to plan a future without the Cody show. Logan lit the match, Christine says over coffee. "And we needed the fire," Janelle responds. Drama in Robin's corner. Aurora misses dinner. Dayton keeps his door shut. Robin calls Logan every evening. No answer. Just crying voicemail, unheard. "And Logan?" he writes. Novels, no. Memories, the pressure, the masks, how he distorted himself to keep up the front. And the more he writes, the more he sees. He owes no one an explanation. Then, shock twist, somebody knocks on his door. It's Gwendlyn, backpack slung over one shoulder. "I can't live there anymore," she tells him. He invites her into his house. No questions asked, no judgments made, just a listening ear. The older kids are leaving, one by one. Not only physically, but emotionally. The perfect family facade? Broken. And the kicker, occasionally you must burn the myth in order to ultimately break through the haze and see what is actually real. For Logan, that was real from the moment he walked away. And this storm, honey, this was just the beginning of the rain. Stay tuned, because the next one to walk away, it's somebody nobody's seeing it coming.